Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Robin from Uniquely Robins. I had a couple of requests from some people that wanted to know how I made my journal covers. Probably not the way everybody does it. I kind of learned on my own, and I like them to be as sturdy as possible. So most of the time I do hardback covers. Every once in a while I will make some smaller soft covers, but most generally I do hardback covers. So I thought I would show you today, and we'd play a little bit, and I'll show you how I do it. I'm sure there's a lot of faults in the way I do it, but this is how I do it. This is my spine piece, and it measures about 2.5 by 9. And then these will be the front and back covers, and they measure 9 by 6.5. And so what I do, and this is lightweight chipboard, so it's kind of sturdy. And then I also use cardstock to cover them in to stiffen them up a little bit more. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock here, and this cardstock has, I don't know if you can see it or not, a little bit of a texture on one side. I try to put that on the outside, but it doesn't matter that much because we're going to cover it with pretty stuff anyway. So, but I need 2 pieces for this size to make it big enough. So what I'm going to do, a little dimple in there, is glue these 2 together. And I just run some glue down the edge. This is a new bottle of glue, and it is kind of runny. I do love this art glitter glue, though. It holds really well, and it doesn't take a whole lot of it. But I do want to make sure that seam is pretty good, and then you're going to line it up. Try to make sure that it's straight, and burnish it down. Got a little too much glue there, splitting out. I don't know where my other burnishing tool is. I like it better for this, but for some reason I can't find it right now. And made a mess here. Get a clean towel. Okay. And we're going to make sure that that's down good because we don't want it to come apart. You can wipe off any excess glue that squirts out, but it will dry there, and it dries clear, and it will keep it from coming apart right there. So we're just going to go with that. Okay. Now I always put my seam as close to the middle of this seam as I can, and I don't measure a lot. You'll find that out. I eyeball a lot of stuff, and I usually get it pretty straight, unless I'm cutting. I can't cut straight to save my life, and I don't know why that is, but I just can't. And then when you put these 2 pieces on, well, let's glue this one down first, just so we... Get as close to the edge as you can. So it's down good. And I probably do overkill on my glue, but I don't want things to fall apart. And then burnish that down on there. We're just gonna clean up around that edge. Okay, and give it a good burnish down. Make sure it sticks really well. The worst thing would be for our journal to fall apart. Okay, and then the way I decide the distance that I want between here, a lot of times I will just use the width of the chipboard. But sometimes that is just a little too small, so I'll give it some room, because what I want to do when I put my paper on the inside is I want to burnish down through here, and that gives it a very good stick, and that lets the book fold very well. Here's one I'm working on. As you can see, the distance I have between here, and then you can burnish down through there, and that makes it stick really well. And then your book opens and closes very well, and it can lay flat while you're working on it. This one's not going to lay flat because I have some popped up flowers on there, but that's just one I'm working on. I'll get that one finished here in the next couple of days. Okay, so we want to get back to this, and I think we're going to give it, let's see if I can, it's about 1/4 inch through there. And then we're going to, I don't know why I'm flipping it over, they're both the same on both sides, but just knocked a bead over. Yes, last night I was working on that other journal and was going through some beads and spilled a whole thing of them all over my floor, which took me forever to find them all. And that was one I missed. Picked up this morning, so. Of course, the cat will have a ball playing with them. Let's see if we can get that like 1/4 inch and make sure that it's even with the top and the bottom. You do have a little bit of play with this glue, but not a lot. And then we're going to burnish that down. Get any excess that's leaking out, just a little bit. Okay, now we'll do this side. I'm not used to working on this table. I usually work at my desk, but trying to figure out this video equipment, and we're not getting along very well. And for some reason, it wanted to put a weird shadow halfway through. So I didn't think that would be good. You wouldn't be able to see everything that's going on. Okay, so. And my husband told me that doing a YouTube video wouldn't be bad because I was a little intimidated by it. But he said I talk to myself all the time anyway, so. And I do. Especially when I'm crafting, I talk to myself. At least this way I'm talking to you guys and not myself. Gives me a good excuse. Okay. All right, well that seems good. Now, I'm going to cut off some of this excess because we don't need that much. We do want it to overhang some, but not a tremendous amount. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you're going to cover that with paper, which is good because, like I said, I can't cut straight to save my life. And we'll cut some off of this side. Okay. Now, I don't think the top and bottom is too bad. Like I said, we're going to cover that anyway, so. All right, then we're going to cut across the corners so that we don't have a bunch of bulk. And some, you know, some people can measure this out and get it just precise, but you can always cut a little more off later if you want to. Just don't get it too close, because if you get it too close to the corner, then you're going to have a gap there. And that's kind of, you're going to have a big piece of paper on the inside of your book to try to cover that. So I try not to do that. I didn't get this side quite as short as that side. So let's, and like I said, they don't have to be perfect, but I try to make it as even as possible. Okay. Now, I don't have a, well, I do have, but it doesn't work very well, a folding board. So what I like to do is just hold both sides of it and just kind of use the chipboard pressure to fold it, and you get a pretty good fold that way. And then you want to burnish that down. Okay, Get a good crease in it, and then we're gonna flip it and do the other side. And we're gonna burnish that down. Okay. So we got the long sides done. Now we're gonna work on the short side. And again, just use the pressure of the chipboard, and it'll give you a good straight fold there. On the other side, and I hope this is in frame to where you can see it. Kind of new to this video and stuff, and trying to figure out how to set it up without being in your way to see. Okay. See, that looks pretty good. All right. Now I like to do the long sides first. I don't know why, and I go right along the edge of the chipboard first, so we make sure that it sticks well there. And then down through the edges. Oops, I want to clean off the edge there. Oops, I'm sorry I bumped you there. And you don't want a ton of glue that it's going to squirt all out, but you want enough that it's going to stay where you put it. And then we're going to fold this up. And burnish it. And this is where my other bone folder I like better, because it has a square end on it, and it is just perfect to fit in here. But we'll have to make do with this one. This one has a flat side, and I burnished those really well right there where that seam is at. Where this part is. So that sticks really well. Alright, now we're going to flip it over and do the other side. Again, down through the right up against the chipboard. It makes it a little more cohesive that way. Okay. And this black chipboard does get all over you, so be prepared for that. Burnish that. And again, we want to get really good sticking power right here where these creases are at. Didn't quite get my seam in the middle, did I? But that doesn't matter, because we're going to cover that anyway. So this is just your first layer of what could be many layers. Now, this one, on this end down here, I noticed it goes up a little high, so I'm going to snip this just a little bit more. Hopefully I didn't snip it too far. But that's the one thing with paper craft, is everything is pretty forgiving, and if you mess it up, you can cover it up with something else prettier, or there's a way to fix it. Okay, now we're going to do our sides. Same way, along the chipboard. And we're going to fold it up. And always start from the middle and go out to the edges. That way you can wipe up any excess glue. and you don't get a wrinkle. Because if you go from one side to the other, sometimes you'll get a wrinkle. Okay. And 9 times out of 10, I put corner pieces on anyway, so I just think they're pretty on there. The little metal corner pieces that you can get, I think those look so nice on there. And again, go from the middle out. And burnish it down. Okay. And then you can just, I wouldn't push really hard, but just, you know, enough to get your fold in there. And there you have it. And so your corners look nice, and then they're not wrinkled or anything. It's a nice sturdy book. So it can take the wear and tear of, you know, multiple uses and what have you. I think we're going to make this one into a Christmas journal. I got some Christmas paper in a couple of days ago, and it's really pretty paper. So we're going to work on that. Sorry, I had to get some coffee there. And then the inside, you just cut your papers to put on there. Trying to see if I have piece around here close without knocking the camera over. Guess I don't. Okay, well, you choose your colors that you want for the inside. We'll go through the Christmas paper and find some pretty paper. And maybe tomorrow or later this afternoon, we'll work on the inside and start working on making it very pretty. But there you have it. That's how I do it. Of course, like I said, it's probably not the way to do it, or, you know, different people have different ways to do it, but that's how I do it. So I appreciate you hanging in there with me, and I appreciate it if you'd subscribe and, you know, hang in there with me. We'll have some fun. When I work this video equipment out, I'm sure, hopefully, it will, the videos will get better. So, yeah, we'll see. All right, thanks a lot, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, and be kind. Bye-bye.